Memories are timeless treasures of the heart. Join us as we share weekly obituaries in memoriam reflections and loving tributes. We hope you find solace in the memories shared. In loving memory.
Vinita, Mentore's butcher, née Gittins.
Carlston Stephen Ford.
Maxine Sharon Foster. Geraldine Diana Gooding.
Michael Ricardo Griffith.
Isla Geraldine Haynes. Carol Leroy Headley. Michael Lyle Lashley. De Courcy Leon Lowe. Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep by Mary Elizabeth Fry. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry, I am not there, I did not die. With sadness in death and with gratitude for God's gift of resurrection life, we share the passing of our beloved Vinita, Mentore's butcher, née Gittins, aged 81, of Fairholme Gardens, Maxwell Christ Church, and Haggett Hall, St. Michael, retired senior sister at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, wife of the late Ernest Irwin Butcher, aeronautical mechanic with BWIA Engineering Department, daughter of the late Edward Padmore and Beatrice Gittins, mother of Jowin Butcher, Julie Crawford, and bonus mother of Jose Trotman, grandmother of Malachi and Mateo Butcher, Paige and Robert Crawford III, and bonus grandmother of Hannah, Eden, and Isaac Trotman, adopted mother of Junior Grant, special mother of Vashti Roberts and Monica Halverson, godmother of Amoy Gilding Bourne, mother-in-law of Robert Crawford Jr., sister of Isaline Applewaite, Pauline Innes, the late Ismay Reed, Thelma Smart, Eudora Hurley, and Cleo Sweeney, sister-in-law of Doreen, Royce, Judith, Jeanette, Jules, Ruth, and Reginald Butcher. A Thanksgiving service celebrating the life of Vinita, Mentore's butcher, née Gittins, will be held on Wednesday, July 19, 2023, at 10 a.m. in the chapel of Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens, The Ridge Christ Church, where relatives and friends are asked to meet, followed by the interment in the Summit Gardens. Live streaming of the service may be viewed at keithjonesfunerals.live/Vinita Butcher.
Carlston Stephen Ford of 2nd Avenue, Gardenland, Country Road, St. Michael, entered peacefully into rest at the age of 57. Employee of the Royal Westmoreland Property Owners Association and member of the Empire Club, son of the late Hyacinth Ford and John Mason, brother of Marcia, Esther, Llewellyn, Tony, John Ford, Velda Capers, the late Maureen and Ronald Ford, and many others. uncle of Aileen Smith, Norman, David, Orlando, Marcia, Jeffrey and Calvin Ford, Ronaldo and Rashida Bignall, Jerome Sammy, Jason Green and the late Leroy Ford, and many others. Cousin of Matthew Lowe and many others. Relative of the Drayton family. Friend of Colin Mayers, Jackie, Samantha, and many others. The funeral of the late Carlston Stephen Ford leaves Earl's Funeral Home on Tuesday, July 18th, 2023, before James Street Methodist Church, James Street, Bridgetown, St. Michael, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of Thanksgiving at 2 p.m. The funeral will then proceed to Westbury Cemetery for the interment. Live streaming of the funeral may be viewed via watch.earlsfuneralhome.com/Carlston Ford.
Maxine Sharon Foster of Maycox Road, St. Lucie, entered peacefully into rest at the age of 50. Employee of the Mango Bay Resort. Daughter of Maureen Jordan and Anthony Bailey. Mother of Akins and Tito Jordan. Granddaughter of Pamela Wilkinson. Sister of 4. Niece of Ivor Wilkinson and Grace White. Relative of the Jordan and Bailey families. Friend of many. The funeral of the late Maxine Sharon Foster leaves Earl's Funeral Home, Half Moon Fort, St. Lucie, on Wednesday, July 19, 2023, at 8 a.m. for St. James Cemetery, Cemetery Lane, St. James, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for a graveside service of Thanksgiving at 10 a.m. Floral tributes may be sent to Earl's Funeral Home no later than 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Funeral arrangements entrusted to IRG Funerals Incorporated. Condolences may be made online at www.earlsfuneralhome.com, or you may visit them via Facebook. Geraldine Diana Gooding, aged 68, of Jubilee Gap Eagle Hall, St. Michael, entered into rest on July 6, 2023. Retired Executive Officer of the NIS. Wife of Carl Gooding, retired Police Sergeant 698 of the Royal Barbados Police Force. Daughter of the late Jean Leonora Bishop and Vandell Carter. Mother of Jalissa Gooding. Stepmother of Adrian Harding. Grandmother of Darissa Gooding. Sister of Janice Osborne. Godmother of Hasina Harris. Niece of Vern Jones of the USA and Joycelyn Smith of Canada. Cousin of Margaret Seal, Gail Young, Sonia Osborne, Jewel Bedford, Erskine Tony Osborne, all of the USA, Renee Smith of Canada, and many others. Sister-in-law of Anthony Gooding, Stephen Roberts and Portia Roberts Pofan, all of the UK. Erskine Griffith, retired senator. Nigel Griffith, retired senior teacher of the Parkinson Memorial Secondary School. And the late Judith Griffith, relative of the Osborne and Gooding families. Friend of Colin and Waple Brathwaite, Sandra Arthur, Dr. Yusuf Naji, Evelyn Goddard, Darcy Belgrave, Reverend Anthony Harewood, Pastor Stephen Strickland, and many others. The funeral of the late Geraldine Diana Gooding leaves Keith Jones Funeral Home on Tuesday, July 18, 2023, for All Souls Church, Bank Hall, St. Michael, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 10 a.m. for a service of thanksgiving. The cortege will then proceed to the Frangipani Lawns, Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens, the Ridge Christ Church, for the interment. Live streaming of the funeral may be viewed via keithjonesfunerals.live/Darlene Gooden.
Michael Ricardo Griffith of Spring Farm, St. Thomas, and formerly of Church Gap, Hillaby, St. Thomas, entered peacefully into rest at age 54. Mason of the National Housing Corporation. Sunrise, November 18, 1968. Sunset, June 15, 2023. Son of Caspert Olton and the late Marjorie Griffith. Father of Junior Thompson of Hotel Foods, Elon Griffith and Giovanni Gibbs. Grandfather of Sakia Thompson, Shiana Worrell, Neymar King, Kyle Thompson, and Shamira Straker. Partner of Victorine Marshall. Brother of Gloria Waterman of the USA. Mark Griffith, Kent Construction, Yulon Griffith, PriceSmart, Andine Griffith of the NHC, Denise Tate, Chernell Nurse of MHLM, Sonia Nurse, Sharon and Kerwin Downs of the USA, Kelly Ann Olton of the USA, and the late Eleanor Smith, nephew of Shirley and Chesterfield Griffith, uncle of Ramel Griffith, Akiba Waterman, Tyreek Griffith, Daisia and Shane Beckles, Devonte, and many others. Cousin of Joyce, Kayla and Earl Griffith, Alexis, Andrea, Ambrose, the late Davidson Griffith, and many others. Relative of the Griffith, Best, Burroughs, and Olton families. The funeral of the late Michael Ricardo Griffith leaves Earl's Funeral Home on Thursday, July 20th, 2023, for St. Thomas Parish Church, Archhall, St. Thomas, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of thanksgiving and the interment at 3 p.m. Live streaming of the funeral may be viewed via watch.earlsfuneralhome.com/Michael Griffith.
Isla Geraldine Haynes, aged 83 years, of Farm Road, St. Philip, peacefully entered into rest on Sunday, July 2nd, 2023. Retired head of the English department of the Princess Margaret Secondary School and faithful member of the Woodbourne Wesleyan Holiness Church, Flat Rock, St. George, daughter of the late St. Clair and Eudora Haynes, sister of Reverend Cleo E. Haynes, Mrs. Hilda P. V. White of the UK, Mrs. Marlene E. Walrand, and the late Miles Wesley Haynes, sister-in-law of Clyde White of the UK and Ricardo Walrand, aunt of Mrs. Nadia Holliday, Alder, Carita, Leon, and Daron White, all of the UK, John Wesley V. Haynes, Mylene, Alma and Judy Haynes, great-aunt of 12, great-great-aunt of 4, cousin of many, friend of Reverend and Mrs. Lloyd Foster, Pamela Roach, Nigel Brathwaite, Euclid Ramsey, Marva Green, Jennifer Johnson, Reverend Pamela Paris,
Salona Balgobin, June Seeley, the pastor and members of Woodbourne Wesleyan Holiness Church, the Farm Road St. Philip Community, and many others. The funeral of Isla Geraldine Haynes leaves Belmont Funeral Home on Friday, July 21st, 2023 at 8:15 a.m. for the chapel of Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 10 a.m. for a service. The funeral will then proceed to the chapel lawns at Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens for the interment. The funeral may be viewed via live stream at www.belmontfuneralhome.live/Isla Haynes. It is with great sadness that we announce the peaceful passing of our beloved Carol Leroy Headley of 501-123 Railroad Street, Brampton, Ontario, who entered peacefully into rest on Wednesday, June 21st, 2023, at the age of 92, surrounded by the love of his family. Former teacher of the Aline Secondary School, Modern High School, supporter of the Barbados Canada Foundation, and retired bacteriologist for the Ministry of Health in Ontario. Carol is now reunited with his dear parents Wilhelmina and Alan Headley. He was the cherished husband of Doris Headley, née Thompson, with whom he spent many wonderful and loving years. Beloved father of Carl, Alan, Michael Headley, and Louis Elroy Eugene Headley. He will forever be the devoted grandfather of Ryan Douglas Headley, Erica Michelle Headley, and Olivia Louise Headley. Adored brother of Marjorie Bishop, Denison Headley, Sheila Workman, and Veronica Headley. Father-in-law of Wendy Korakosko. Relative of the Hope, Boyce, Springer, Hoardings, and Headley families. Friend of the Aline Secondary School alumni. Carol was a man of many passions and interests, but most of all he loved his family. He was a scholar who greatly valued education. His love for education and hard work paid off when he obtained his Bachelor of Arts in Theology and a PhD in Neuropathy. He was proud of his heritage as a Barbadian. Carol was well loved and will be remembered for his generosity, his kindness, and all the lives he's touched. He was truly a remarkable person and will be deeply missed by his family, friends in Barbados, Canada, and all who had the pleasure of knowing this true gentleman. The funeral of the late Carol Leroy Headley leaves Earl's Funeral Home on Monday, July 17th, 2023 for St. Albans Anglican Church, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of Thanksgiving at 2 p.m. The funeral will then proceed to St. James Cemetery for the interment. Live streaming of the funeral may be viewed via watch.earlsfuneralhome.com/Carol Headley. Michael D. Lyle Lashley of Ealing Park, Christchurch, entered peacefully into rest at aged 75. Husband of Joycelyn Lashley, son of Vereen Auguste, née Lashley, and the late Lawrence Kitchener Clark. Father of Maria Howell, Andrew Burke, Michelle and Gail Lashley. Grandfather of Jaden, Marley, Elijah, Josiah, Jamani, Joshua, and the late Tiffany Burke. Brother of Anthony, Lawrence, Roger, Christopher, Grantley and Heather Lashley, Pauline Sargent, Gloria Grant, Andrew and Clarence Willis Clark, uncle of Sean, Claire, Hallam, Danielle, Lauren, Dane, Nicole, Denise, Kevin, Kim, Paul, Avienne, cousin of Elmina,
Irita, Judith, Norma, Ricky, Alan, Ian, Orlando, Cheryl, Sonja, Judy, Keith, and many others. Father-in-law of Miguel Howell, brother-in-law of Gloria, Arletta and Sandra Lashley, relative of the Clark, Armstrong, Cox, and Larrier families, friend of Winston Deere, Mark Cox, David Norgrove, Tony Devonish, Joel Big Bird Garner, the Bradshaws, the Welches, and numerous others. The funeral of the late Michael D. Lyle Lashley leaves Earl's Funeral Home on Tuesday, July 18, 2023, for Christ Church Parish Church, Churchill Oystons Christ Church, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of Thanksgiving and the interment at 10 a.m. Live streaming of the funeral may be viewed via watch.earlsfuneralhome.com/Michael Lashley. De Courcy Leon Lowe of Warren's Terrace East, St. Thomas, formerly of Cane Garden, St. Andrew. Sunrise, October 23, 1937. Sunset, June 28, 2023. The funeral of the late De Courcy Leon Lowe leaves Earl's Funeral Home, Half Moon Fort, St. Lucie, on Wednesday, July 19, 2023, at 1 p.m. for St. Andrew's Parish Church, Belle Plaine, St. Andrew, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of Thanksgiving and the interment at 3 p.m. The organist and choir are kindly asked to attend. Live streaming of the funeral may be viewed via watch.earlsfuneralhome.com/De Courcy Lowe. Funeral arrangements entrusted to IRG Funerals Incorporated. This week, we remember James Christopher Blades, Shannon Felicia Edwards, Terry Sharon Grisette, Leela V. Griffith, Gloria Justina Holder, Angela Purcella Jordan, and Clotilda Esterline King. This week, we remember Fitz Oswald Tate,
One of the greatest comforts in times of sorrow is the expression of sympathy conveyed in many ways. The team at In Loving Memory thanks you on behalf of the families for your expressions of sympathy at this time.